I think I've gushed about Heart Gold and Soul Silver enough. So let's move on to Generation 3. I know I've spent time with the original Gen 3, but I honestly don't remember it as much because it was so long ago. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is what I'm mainly going to be sticking to, and I'll go back to the original for comparison's sake. But Omega Ruby is the most recent game in the series, technically. I know it was like, what, a year and a half ago, but it's the most recent game released until Sun and Moon comes out. And since Sun and Moon's going to change up the entire formula, for the most part, of how a Pokemon game works, Omega Ruby was a really, really good last... If this truly is the last time we're going to see 8 gym badges until another remake comes along, I'm glad the formula kind of ended with this, because Omega Ruby is really, really good. I will admit, I'm not really a big fan of when they tried to have a story, aka the Delta episode. It just kind of came down to more exposition, that they tried to solve some of the plot holes with AZ, but only ended up complicating things. It's just one of those things that I think Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire could have done without the Delta episode. Admittedly, it had a great payoff, because I did love the fight with Rayquaza, and I loved the fight with Deoxys, but I wasn't really a big fan of the new characters. I forget what her name was, but it was the crazy girl. And I didn't, she was kind of entertaining, but she was just that. She was amusing, but nothing more. She wasn't really what I would call a character. And as for the rest of the storyline, there was so much exposition and dialogue, and that just like, okay, can we, enough of this, please. At least it led into some cool fights with the legendaries, so that was nice, but... Yeah. Oh, and Deoxys is no longer an event legendary, I guess. Thank God. Overall, other than the Delta episode, the main game was really good. Again, unfortunately, like Heart Gold Soul Silver, it is bogged down by a few of the original's problems. One of the original problems was there's so much surfing. And if you had an electric type, that meant your electric type was going to be overpowered as hell, because they would be pretty much getting all the experience. That holds true here. Considering that I had an Ampharos that I traded over, it wasn't an Ampharos when I traded, it was a Mareep when I traded it over, because I think I got it from Heart Gold Soul Silver a while ago. But I traded it over to Omega Ruby because that's one thing another thing that Omega Ruby has a problem with is the variety in Pokemon is not very good. It's like, I know you have Manectric, but other than Manectric, like, electric types in Gen 3 were scarce, and even when there were electric types, like Plusle and Minun, would you really want to use them? No, you wouldn't. Not that they're bad Pokemon, I don't hate them, but they're Pikachu clones, but they're not decent like Raichu is. So I just traded over a Mareep so I could get an Ampharos. Besides, I eventually got a Mega Stone for Ampharos, and he became my go-to Pokemon because every water type it's a little bit worse with Alpha Sapphire. I got Omega Ruby because I like Groudon more than Kyogre. So whether you think that's right or wrong is up to you. One thing I also had a problem with was, even though surfing was cut down, and I did appreciate that, not to mention they lowered the encounter rate, I think. I'm not sure if this was a Gen 6 thing or not, but they lowered the encounter rate for surfing. Some of the parts you had to do to get to the 8th gym were just kind of obnoxious. It wasn't like... It wasn't hard, it was just annoying. It was more annoying than anything else, but it was just something I noticed. But I love some of the things that, again, I love that it fixed some of the issues. I love the new secret bases. I never really did anything with the secret bases in the original Gen 3, mostly because I didn't know about them. But I love the secret base edition. I love all the little things people have managed to do. I love that you can actually have if you have 3 Blissies and they're at level 100, you can grind so easily, so grinding is literally no problem in Omega Ruby if you know how to work it. And I absolutely love that they actually gave personality to some characters that previously didn't really have much of personality. Wally is actually... Wally, I believe that was his name. It was, Wally was one of your rivals. Or was it... I forget. You know what, future me, put his name if I got it wrong. Anyway, one of your rivals you encounter early in the game, he doesn't really know what he wants to do for a Pokemon journey. He doesn't really know what he wants to do, and he doesn't. But through sort of over the course of the story, he sort of becomes more comfortable with himself. He sort of he grows along with his Pokemon. In the original game, it sort of felt kind of forced, but in the new game, they actually gave him some really good character development. I believe Wally is his name, so I'm going to call him Wally for the rest of the video, and if I'm wrong, well, fuck me. I need to give this guy a name, otherwise it's going to distract the hell out of me. So Wally really grows throughout the entire game, and his character development doesn't feel rushed or forced. It feels natural, and with every time you battle him, he gets stronger and stronger. He's still not really a threat, but you know, he gets more challenging over the course of the game. May is really the only weak link. While I had May for my journey because I was the male character, obviously. When it came to the rival, though, Brendan/May, I honestly don't see why they kept her. Like, not to say that, you know, she couldn't have a purpose in the story, but I never really enjoyed when they had the rival be the other character, the other player character, like how Serena was in X and Y, or Callum, Serena or Callum, or May and Brendan, or any of those type of rivals. I never liked those type of rivals. I never really liked Dawn or in Platinum and Diamond and Pearl, because they really didn't have a personality at all. Like, okay, like sometimes, like, Dawn was like the professor's assistant, and that was it. She just did that. You worked with her one or two times, and that was it. I would have liked it if you worked with her throughout the game more, or maybe she traveled with you. That's something I would like, maybe another character kind of traveling with you. If they really want to have this character, have her do something. May doesn't do anything in the story other than challenge you a couple of times and get worried about you and hang out with you every now and then, but she doesn't really have a personality other than that. They tried to do a little bit more with her here, especially in the Delta episode, but it doesn't pay off well at all. That's something that later rivals would sort of succumb to, is that they sort of become inconsequential. Wally, at the very least, while he wasn't inconsequential, at least Wally got character development. Like, he grew by watching you, and he saw how strong you were as the player character. He saw how strong you were as a trainer, and he was inspired by that, and he got stronger as a result. That's good character development. Bianca and Sharon, you know, they didn't really do much throughout the story, but Bianca got some good character development in Generation 5. Sharon wasn't really sure what he wanted to do, but over the course of time, he sort of gains an idea of what he wants to do throughout the entire game. They got character development, so they at least have that. May and Brendan and Dawn and Serena and Callum and their respective games don't really do anything. The closest I think they got to getting that right was Serena and Callum, because at the very least they were helping you with Team Flare, but even then it wasn't much. At least I don't think it was, because, you know, her Pokemon died all the time. But anyway, you know, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire did actually give other characters personality. Like, Team Flare and Team Aqua were at odds with each other. That's the thing that was in the original game, but they actually have motivation this time around. They actually have a bit of backstory, and I like what the personality of some of the characters. I'm just gonna mostly talk about Team Magma, because I haven't played Alpha Sapphire. I hear Team Aqua actually gets some more backstory, but when it comes to Team Magma, what I like about them is that the leader of Team Magma actually has personality. He actually joins you later on in the game once he realizes he made a mistake by releasing Groudon from his sleeping prison. And I also really like the girl. I forget her name, but she's like the girl in like the hood. I like how I like how loyal she actually is to I like how loyal she actually is to the leader of Team Magma, and I like how loyal she is to the cause. I actually really enjoyed her character. She was actually a pretty fun character. They gave a lot of characters personality. They added more characters to some of the teams, and they gave more personality to the gym leaders. I like how Flannery wasn't this. It would have been so easy to make her sort of a hot-headed, brash girl, but instead they actually made her, like, she tried to be tough, but she just couldn't be tough. She was terrible at it. And that's such that's a thing that I like. Judging by her design, I wouldn't actually see her being like that, but she was like that, and that was funny. And I liked how I liked that they gave a personality to more of the characters. So that was really enjoyable. I don't think it was quite as good as Heart Gold Soul Silver and the original Gold and Silver with trying to give the characters personality, but it was a step in the right direction, which is what I really like. As for Gen 4, I really can't spend much time on it because I really honestly haven't played Platinum in years, and I honestly haven't touched Platinum in forever. My only hope with Platinum is that they eventually re-release it, maybe re-release it. I don't know what they would do with Platinum. It would be nice to actually play Pokemon on a console. Maybe they can test that out with the virtual console games. Maybe. Doubtful. Yeah, I think it's doubtful too. But anyway, I'm sorry if I'm gonna like skip ahead to Gen 5 because I want to talk about Gen 5 a lot, and I don't have much to say on Gen 4. I mean, I could talk about the anime, but I don't want to. So I'm gonna sort of skim past Gen 4 because I will say this: my favorite Pokemon came from Gen 4, Lucario. That's something, right? So Gen 5.